Hey everybody, welcome to Melanin Goddess Life, and I am the Melanin Goddess Sonia. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. I hope you're being safe, and also, as always, I hope you're going out and doing something fun and exciting during these quarantine times. So I am here with you guys with another video, and today's video is going to be on the topic of astrology and how I incorporate astrology into my manifestation work and also into my everyday life. Now, I love manifesting. I am a believer that we can manifest the life we desire. We just have to practice. We just have to manifest and go out and do it. But in addition to manifestation, my first love is astrology. I am more than just your average astrology lover. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it, but astrology has always been something that I have incorporated into my life, and over the years I've learned more about it. I've gotten a little bit more in depth about it, and I have now, I wouldn't say now, I incorporate astrology into my manifestation work, and I incorporate astrology into my everyday life. So today we're going to talk about how to incorporate astrology into manifestation in your everyday life, its benefits, and just everything about astrology. Okay, so first of all, let's define, and you know I have my notes, let's define what astrology is. Astrology is the study or art of tracking the movements and positions of the celestial bodies and interpreting their influence over our human affairs and our natural world. Astrology is a science, and it's the science of how the planets, how the stars, how all the celestial bodies work together that influence our everyday lives, our human nature, how the world operates, and everything. That is the definition of astrology. Now, personally, I believe that God is the supreme force. He is the beginning and the end. But the planets and their movements have a significant impact on our lives and our society. Astrology plays a key role in our everyday lives. Most people's knowledge of astrology begins and ends with knowing their sun sign, and their sun sign only. But there's so much more to astrology. Basically, astrology is like your astrological DNA. No two people have the same astrological aspects. At the time of your birth, each planet was in a divine, unique alignment in the heavens, and this alignment is the blueprint of how we appear, our personalities, our likes and dislikes, how we love, the careers we choose, and the experiences that we may encounter throughout our life. Now understand, we all have free will in our lives, and that's where manifestation comes in. Because you have free will, you can manifest what you desire in your life. However, with astrology, astrology is basically a blueprint of our lives. And as you go through the blueprint of your lives, you'll see that there's certain experiences that you're going to have depending on where the planets were in your natal chart at the time of your birth. We use astrology to give us a heads up, basically, on those events. Whereas we can determine how we will handle that transit during that time. And a transit is like when the planets are moving through certain houses, moving through certain signs, connecting with certain other planets to give us the experience that we're going to have at that time. So if we have a heads up by using astrology, we'll know how to react to beneficial situations that's not so beneficial. We can turn those around. We can maximize, or we can take advantage of good energy that's going on in the heavens. So again, astrology is like the blueprint of our lives, and we have free will to change it at any time, but it is amazing that we're able to have this blueprint, that we're able to have this advantage or this leg up on knowing what is in store for us. Now, again, astrology is not something that you say, oh, it's just going to happen this way. It's going to happen this way. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of accuracy into astrology, but not everybody has the same experiences. And just because the stars say that you may have this experience doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have it. But it is very accurate. So we're going to talk about how I use astrology to help me with my manifestation and to help me with everyday life and things that I'm going through, or things that I'm, trying to understand that I am going through, so I won't struggle so much in life. So if you didn't know anything about astrology, there's 3 things that everyone should know. These are your basics that you should know. And these basic things will kind of help you along the lines of understanding who you are and how you operate. So of course you want to know your sun sign, which most everyone knows their sun sign. You want to know your moon sign, and you want to know your ascendant or your rising sign. Now, these signs are determined at the time of your birth. So it's very important when you're trying to find out what these 3 signs are, that of course, your date of birth, your exact time of birth, which is usually on your birth certificate, and your place of birth, because it's going to determine where the planets were exactly, depending on the time zone that you were in. So 3 things about these signs. Your sun sign, of course, represents your basic nature. It's basically your personality traits. Your moon sign determines your emotions and how you process your emotions. And your rising or your ascendant sign, which is the same thing, but people use different terminology, so it could be your rising or your ascendant sign. That is the sign, or that is the face that the world sees. Whereas your sun sign is your basic nature of who you are, your rising sign is the face that you put on for the world. And this is the first face that people see when they meet you, is going to be your rising sign. Now, with those 3 signs, like I said, nobody's signs are exactly the same. So it just depends on where the planets were at the time of your birth. My sun sign is Cancer. So the sun was in the sign of Cancer at the time of my birth. The moon was in the sign of Virgo. So my moon sign is a Virgo. And the rising sign was, I am a Leo rising. So those are my 3 astrological makeups. But to get a full picture of who you are, you would need your natal chart. And that will tell you where every planet, every celestial body was at the time of your birth. And this is how I manifest through astrology. I have astrology software that I use. It's the WinStar software. It's a basic astrology software, because there's many out there, but I'm familiar with this one because I had this one for a few years ago, so I'm very familiar with how it works. I did just recently update and get a brand new astrology software, so I'm still learning all the tricks to it and all the extras that it has for it, but I'm able to determine with my basic charts here how I manifest and what's going on in my life. So what I'm going to do on this video, we're going to look at my personal chart and just trying to get an idea of what's going on with me and what I would be manifesting or what I would be paying attention to during this time. Okay, now I know this is not the ideal positioning, but this is the best I can do. Okay, now on the screen here is what we call an astrological wheel. And inside of here, you'll see all the glyphs, you'll see all the signs inside of here. This is what's called a natal chart. So basically, this is what the planets were doing at the time of my birth. So on my birthday, at the time that I was born, in the city that I was born, this is where each planet was. There's different houses, there's different signs, and so it tells you what each planet was doing and to what degree it was doing it when I was born. This is my natal chart. This is what happened when I was born. Now, I want to look at what is going on with me now. So I want what we call, and you see the difference in the charts. It goes from there to this. I want to know what's going on with me now. So I want to go and look at my transit chart. I want to see where the planets are right now so I can benefit from what's going on in the heavens and with the planets right now. So inside here is my natal chart, what was going on at the time of my birth, and on the outside here is what's going on now. So the charts are broken up into different houses. There's 12 different houses, and each house represents something different. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to go through the entire chart, but I am going to kind of look at some stuff where there's a lot of activity going on, which you will notice down here in this particular area right here in the 6th house. I have 3 planets here in the 6th house, and they're actually going retrograde, but we'll talk about that. I don't want to get too much into that. But the 6th house basically is the house of health. It's the house of day-to-day routines. With that being said, I have 3 planets that are currently in this house. And they're going retrograde, but like I said, we're not going to go over that. But since there's so much activity from these 3 planets in these houses, and these particular planets are very slow-moving planets, so this would be an area of my chart that I would be interested in. This would be an area where I would pay some attention to. I would work on my health, which I've started to try to work out again, address any type of health issues that are going on, because the energy there now for me to successfully get any health issues under control, because I have the energy of these planets here. This will be a wise time for me to try to manifest better health for myself. Interesting enough, it's the house of work routines, and of course my work routine has kind of been disrupted, so I am now focusing on other career avenues that I may have to use to work in conjunction with my current career, just depending on how that's going to phase, just depending on how the current situation affects my job. I may be going into a different career. So I have energy in this house to help me with that. Another area that it appears that I have a lot of activity is here in the 11th house. Now the 11th house is the house of group involvements, clubs, collective endeavors, friendships, humanitarian based ideas, group awareness, social media, social groupings. It's the house of friends, and it has everything to do with social things. So I have a lot of activity in that area. So for me, this would mean I would be focusing on groups that I'm in, or joining groups, or maybe picking up more on my social media activity, things of that nature. Maybe looking at if I'm in a group, whether this group still fits, my needs at this time, or is there a group that I'm interested in joining. I would probably be reevaluating my friendships, trying to figure out, is there something that needs to change in my friendships? Do I need to get some more friends? Do I need to get rid of friends? Those would be the areas that I would be focused on, because I have activity, a lot of activity here. I have a couple of planets here and a node here. So that means, that's some energy where I would want to focus on. One last area I'm going to look at is going to be the 10th house. And the 10th house is the house of achievements in the world, authorities, public life, recognition, guides, and career. And again, I need to focus on my career because I have some activity going on here. And because the planets are transiting through that, it makes sense for what's going on with me. So that's how I would interpret, first and foremost, what's going on with me currently, how I can use the energy, what I need to do. And second of all, I would use this information to determine what I need to manifest and how I'm going to manifest what it is I want to come into my life. That is how I incorporate astrology into my manifestation work, into my day-to-day living, into the cycles of my life. That's how I use astrology to take advantage of the energy that's going on in the heavens, in the universe. Energy is always around us. It's there to help us. It's there to guide us. And even though the universe is going to protect us all on its own, what better way to manifest the life that you want is by helping the universe, is by getting involved with the process, is about knowing what's coming up for you and taking advantage of that, or about knowing what's coming up for you and being prepared for those times in our lives that are not so beneficial, or where we have challenges coming towards us. We're able to kind of like prepare and maybe, like I said, with our free will, change the outcome of certain things. So yeah, that's how I incorporate astrology into my manifestation work. I hope you guys at least got an idea of how it works. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. Please visit me on all my social platforms at Melanin Goddess Life. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Share this video. And if you need any metaphysical tools, if you need any manifestation candles, any ritual oils, anything of that nature, please visit my Etsy store. My Etsy store is under Melanin Goddess Life. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later.